guys. Welcome to this week's episode of Concentrated, the podcast about all of the stuff we find cool and interesting as nerds of color. I am your host, Maria, and I am here with my co host, Manira,
Hey.
who just gave me a thumbs up because this is just the 15th attempt to get this show started.
It's like
Um,
four.
and my other co host, the reason that we've had to try this
It
intro a
was
million
very smooth.
times,
The first one was
Eric.
Manira's fault because she
Oh
asked
my
me about the
gosh.
movie Greenland.
I politely apologize. Don't do that.
And
All
then
right.
I
Well, we're
told you
not
about the movie
talking.
Greenland.
Well,
And then
listen,
I told you about a better movie, Night of the Comet.
we're not talking about
We're
either
not
one of
talking
these
about
things,
either of
guys.
And then
those.
my
What we
nose got
will
itchy.
Eric is a fucking mess as usual. But this week we're actually going to be doing our review of season 2 of The Mandalorian that wrapped
Dun,
this
dun, dun,
weekend.
dun, dun, dun,
Yay! But
dun, dun,
before
dun, dun,
we
dun.
get into that, it's time for Eric to give us a little bit of news.
Bu- 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 bu-
I recently had to
bu-
talk
bu- bu-
myself
bu-
out of buying the eight disc vinyl collection they
Why
put out.
don't you? How much is it?
It's like $100. It's amazing though. It may
Buy
be
it.
something later on.
Buy
Yeah.
Buy
it.
it. Buy it. But for now, let's do the news. We can talk about your purchasing habits
Yes.
later.
All right. I was just saying because she was singing the song. Shut up. All right. I don't have a death, so
Yay!
Thanks.
Yay! Thank goodness that we don't have any deaths this week.
I do have one death, but it's not a person. And it's related to our content last week, where we talked about Cyberpunk 2077.
Oof.
Yeah.
It has gotten worse. Not the game, because the game, again, like we
It is
said,
the game.
it's not finished, and that's the biggest issue. Sony first were the first people to announce that if you bought it on the PS4 through the Sony store, they are pulling it from the store and they are offering refunds if you bought it digitally. Microsoft followed suit about a day later, and if you bought it on the Xbox One, I don't know if the deal applies for the Xbox One X or the Series X, but if you bought it on the Xbox One, like you did, Maria, so you might want to look into
I'm
it.
getting my money back.
They are also offering refunds. They just released a new patch for the game, and I'm assuming it might fix it, but at this point, it's too little, too late, and people are now pissed. And the game
I don't
is
think it fixes the patch of just shitty graphics for the older systems. If you're playing it on one of the new gen systems, I'd say keep it and work for the patches because the patches.
yeah, that's what I plan on doing. I'm not going to
But
get the refund because I do enjoy the game. I do feel bad about people with last gen consoles or
yeah,
people with not great PCs. It's
yep.
fucked up, but they brought it on themselves. They should have known that the game was not ready.
I have a question for the class.
Sure.
Has
Yes.
this ever happened before?
Not
Not
in
that I can
this
think of.
console like there have been games that have come out where like a day one thing will screw it up.
Mhm.
Most games now when they come out there will be a day one patch because usually the gap from going gold, which is when they complete a game and they're ready to push out to stores, that's when they print the disc if you're still buying it on disc, or they push it to like the game stores for pre-download. Usually it's close to a month. So
Mhm.
I don't know, this game was delayed about an extra month because it was supposed to come
Right.
out in November, but it was originally supposed to come out back in April. Um, Usually there's a day one patch for most games nowadays,
Right.
and it'll fix something that they couldn't test, like maybe they didn't
Yeah,
test
yeah,
enough
yeah.
stress
Hold
load, stuff
on.
like that.
But let's be honest though, a day
This
one
is more than a day
patch.
one patch.
Yeah, a day one patch is incredibly common. Them straight up offering refunds
Refunds?
because of the
Yeah.
complaints. I've never seen this before.
No, I've never seen this before. The only thing that I've seen similar was like EA offering, like they took out, they got a lot of backlash for like microtransactions in games like Star Wars Battlefront and things like that, and those like instituted big changes within the first week, but no one was like getting straight up refunded because the game worked. It was just a
Right.
feature of the game was not fair.
Correct. Never in my time being a gamer have I seen them straight up be like, "Hey, we've got so many complaints about this game sucking for a certain segment of the demographic that we're going to give flat out refunds." I've never seen that before.
Yeah, the biggest problem there being is that yeah, it plays all right on next gen systems, but no one, I don't know if you noticed, there's a pandemic going on. People are
Mhm.
going broke. People are losing their homes and their jobs. not a lot of people have enough money to spend for one of the two $500+ systems that just came
Right.
out. And if they do, there's a shortage of them because they're not being made as fast because they don't have people in factories working to make them. And it's just tough to get your hands on one of those. So if you're like one of the people that have one of the systems that's been out for the last 7 years or of the console generation since 2013, you're probably going to get it on that. Or if you don't have, $900 to $1,000 to drop on a PC video card or the latest PC specs. So yeah, a good amount of people are buying it on the Xbox One or the PS4 or the Stadia, which I haven't heard if the Stadia is having these issues because the Stadia basically runs PC.
I actually have not heard anything about this game on Stadia. So
I considered getting it on Stadia, but I'd already pre-ordered on the Xbox Series X, and I wasn't gonna buy it twice because as the Stadia is a cool thing, but they do charge full ass price for AAA games, so I don't want to drop another $60 on a game.
Yep.
So that's the big news out of Sony and Microsoft. They are offering refunds. CD Projekt Red has basically been on an apology tour for the last week. So we're not sure where that's going to go, but I'm sure it's going to keep Cyberpunk off of a lot of best of the year lists.
And my understanding too is that the main reason that they're pushing for the refund is the discrepancy between console experience, not any of the other things. No. So for our listeners, I just want to make sure, for our listeners and for our viewers, I want to make sure that people understand that there is nothing wrong with the game if you're playing it on a new gen system, and that's not why they're pulling it because the game is somehow terrible. They're pulling it and they're giving refunds because people are really upset about the degradation in quality of play between the two systems, not the, transphobic issues that some folks had and other issues.
Oh yeah, no, they wouldn't have pulled it for that. They might have updated it later via patch, but that was the other issue.
Also, thanks for that. Our producer just pointed out that there are some reports that some people can't play on 4K on Stadia, and it'll only work in 1080p.
Is that, well, I know the Stadia itself offers Stadia Pro, like Microsoft's Xbox Live or whatever, where they offer 4K gaming, but you have to pay extra for it. If it didn't work, even if you have the Pro or whatever, and it didn't work in 4K, that's a whole other issue, which I'm assuming that is the case going on because Stadia just pushed that, they were giving away free Stadias if you signed up for a month of Pro. But if it's not working there, that's a whole other issue.
And that's crazy.
Yeah, playing the game in 4K as opposed to playing it in 1080p is a world of difference. But again, the game is broken. The game is not done. So if you are lucky to get a refund and you think it's worth getting one, go for it.
Yep. And also, we did verify that is the case, that even if you have the Pro, it's still only playing in 1080p.
Okay.
That's a problem.
That's bad. Yeah.
Just kind of wrapping up this one, because I know you have some other stories, but I'll be very curious to see how the studio survives this. I mean, they have to survive it, I'm sure, but man, this is big.
It's bad. It's bad for them. It's bad for their brand. It's bad for, all their advertisers. This is 100% bad all around.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Wow.
Hopefully you don't open up your Christmas present and find a disc version of it, because
yikes, could you imagine?
Well, you shouldn't be buying it for little Timmy anyway, because this game is rated M for mature.
You can pick a dick, y'all. It's not for kids.
Yeah.
let's just put that out there. This is not for kids. All right.
And as we expressed on the last episode, picking that dick is not a very satisfying experience.
It's not. I was so disappointed in my dick picking selection.
All right. Anyway, moving along. We'll talk about more dicks, though. Preferably Tom Cruise. Okay. Tom Cruise, a video came out this week. Well, audio came out this week, and people have basically confirmed it's Tom Cruise yelling at the crew of his latest film, Mission Impossible 7, which is filming in England. And apparently some of the crew broke quarantine and put the rest of the crew in danger. And there's this 2-minute clip of Tom Cruise basically going the fuck off, yelling about how, people's lives are at stake, people's livelihoods are at stake. Here's the thing, he's 100% right.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
about to say, it sounds to me like for once Tom Cruise was yelling about something that he should be yelling about.
it kind of sounds like that clip from Tropic Thunder when he plays Les Grossman and he's just yelling. It's like that, but only this time it actually makes sense.
Yeah.
He's being a dick, but he's 100% right. But at the same time, and I know you guys are going to give me shit about it, Ava DuVernay mentioned that if, while he is 100% right, if she as a black woman would have done this, she'd be labeled difficult and bossy and a diva, and no one would work with her.
1,000 million
It's very
trillion
much,
percent.
yes.
Yeah,
Your girlfriend is very much right.
It is coming from a place of privilege, and Tom Cruise knows that.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend is very right.
Yeah. So yeah.
Wait, what were we giving you shit for? That you
because
brought
I
up your
mentioned
girlfriend?
Ava DuVernay.
Well, I mean, you can't stop throwing her in your mouth. Like, she just comes falling out.
We were talking about her earlier, and you guys were like, "Oh yeah, well she's better than the other person that we mentioned, who I'm not going to mention." But again, all right, Tom Cruise is a dick, but he's right.
Oh,
Wash
you
your
don't have to
fucking
spare
hands.
her feelings now. Now that you're on the podcast, you don't have to spare her
Right.
feelings.
We're all good here, buddy.
Yeah. No, but yeah, he makes a lot of points. Basically, hey, people's livelihoods are at stake because a lot of movies are not filming right now because they don't have
Right.
the budget to afford
Right.
COVID testing, and these people are getting tested like every 2 or 3 days.
Mhm.
So for them to go out and just kind of willy-nilly.
It was grossly negligent, especially in the UK where they're talking about they have an entirely new strain of the virus.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they're talking about like shutting down their borders. Like other countries in the EU are already like, yeah, nah, no flights, no trains, nothing into
Mhm.
the UK right now. So, I mean, not that it didn't matter before, but I think that especially in the UK, it's even that much more prevalent. So,
Yeah.
like, good for him for making a fuss about it, but we can't miss the point that he's in a place of privilege to do
Yeah.
it, because if
Mhm.
anybody that looked like the 4 people on the screen right now did that, you already know.
Yeah.
I'd probably be shot.
Yeah, no,
Yikes.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pew pew.
Mhm.
Yikes.
Big man, you go down. You want to talk some more controversy?
Sure.
Always.
All right. Sorry, my phone auto corrected the name because it's a fucking racist ass phone. I want to say
Why you got a racist phone?
Simu Liu, who is playing Shang-Chi in the Marvel film Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings. My phone corrected his name to Similar Liu.
Oh no.
He is in a little bit of hot water. Not so much hot water, like, all right, people are accusing him of being a sellout because 2 years ago, he wrote a tweet about Mark Wahlberg. And as we all know, well, hopefully we all know, Mark Wahlberg was accused of beating 2 Vietnamese men quite badly. One went blind in one eye. He basically called him out in a tweet 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now that tweet suddenly disappeared. And people called Mr. Liu out on it, basically saying, hey, why'd you delete the tweet? He replied with a tweet basically saying, oh yeah, I know the tweet's gone. I deleted it in an effort to basically, be progressive and want to talk to Mark Wahlberg about it. And people were like, okay, that sounds like bullshit. Come a couple hours later, people were like, oh, it is bullshit. You deleted it because you are in a new movie with Mark Wahlberg coming up soon.
Well, okay. I don't actually know that it's bullshit because you all weren't anywhere near him when he decided to do the tweet. 2, when or if he ever met Mark Wahlberg and sat and talked to him. You don't know whether that tweet is bullshit or not.
I don't. I'm just going by the people on
No.
Twitter who are
I don't mean you.
him.
I mean the people that are angry. Like those people that are angry. Okay. Here's the thing.
Okay, here's the exact tweet from Simu Liu. So I think it's pretty obvious why I would delete a tweet like this. I'm trying to set the stage to have progressive conversations and take positive action instead of just hurling stones. I understand the anger, but I don't appreciate the immediate hostility and harassment. That is
fair. Also, don't fuck up my bag. Don't fuck up my Disney bag.
Yeah.
Don't fuck up my Disney Marvel bag.
That's basically what people are accusing him of, that you should have just said you're doing it for the bag.
No, he should have said exactly what he said.
Yeah.
Sorry, not fucking sorry. You
Right.
all stand with for what you believe. He's going to do what he wants to do. I
mean,
don't feel a
It's
problem.
it's another
with
double
that.
standard. Nobody comes after people, that are already problematic and make
Right.
them, if he was a white celebrity, they'd just be like, oh yeah, money.
If he was Mark Wahlberg,
Well,
they would have.
hold on,
Go ahead.
because I'm looking at a little bit more, kind of digging deeper into his comments, and he literally said, "quote I deleted a couple of tweets I made regarding the past actions of one of my co-stars as a gesture of professionalism and to open up the door to progressive conversations and hopefully positive change." He
Mhm.
goes on to say, "Obviously, it'd be pretty weird to go to work with that tweet still up. I meant what I said in the moment. I was very angry hearing about what happened, but that doesn't mean I don't think there's room to grow and work together to find an opportunity to educate and do some good, which I'm excited to do in addition to shooting the movie. Progressive discussion will lead to dialogue, and dialogue will lead to action."
I don't have a problem with
I
it.
have no problem with this.
But again, I'm not Asian. So
Well, okay, well, no. Let's go this far.
Well,
I know in the past I have tweeted some things about people, both not professionally. I've never really tweeted too much
do you
about
have beef
work.
with Mark Wahlberg too?
I
I
mean,
mean-
yeah, but here's the thing, like I have tweeted things and then later when I've had the opportunity to learn more about that situation, either gone back and deleted said tweet or made another comment to update what I believe today.
Maria,
It's the
what
problem
tweets are in your closet that are going to come back and haunt us?
No, well, most of my tweets these days
You
are
hesitated, madam. You
no.
hesitated.
Literally, damn near 100% of my tweets are about MMA. I use my Twitter primarily for MMA. And I really don't, I mean, I say some controversial things, but not like, I'm
Don't
not
you
like,
fuck up this
oh,
bag for us?
like, I'm never like, oh, such and such is a fat turd. Like, I don't know. Like,
How
I'm,
would fat turd mess up our bag?
I'm just saying.
well, I mean, if I
odd
wrote
reason,
GDT is a fat turd, and then he was interested in coming on our show,
That
to
would just
put
be
on my
rude.
tweet from
That
20.
would be rude.
the man is, he has some weight fluctuations.
Right,
That has
that
nothing
would
to do
be
with his
rude.
artistic integrity.
Listen, my fluffy ass has no room to call anybody else fat, right? But I'm just saying.
But I do it. No.
If for some reason we run into Ava DuVernay at a con or something, and she's like, "Oh, I wanted to be on your show," and then I read your sister's tweets,
Right.
I'd be like, "Well, I guess I got to kill her now to prove, you know,
to
to
prove
prove
your
my
love and
worthiness."
loyalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
okay. Here's the thing: the tweet that he originally sent out, I will quote it for you now. Let me get this straight. Mark Wahlberg beat a helpless Vietnamese man with a stick until he passed out when he was 16, and is attempting to get the courts to grant him an unofficial pardon on the basis that he has turned his life around. That was Simo's original tweet. And
So it's just basically a question.
yeah,
Yes.
because he put it out in the time that he put it out. Mark Wahlberg had appealed to, I think, what was it, Boston, to the one a judge in
Yep.
Boston, basically
Yeah.
to erase it from his record.
Yo, that tweet wasn't that bad.
No, it was not.
It really wasn't. And also, I mean, for our listeners who have not had a lot of experience with the legal system,
You must be
fairness-
white.
well, that too. But in fairness to Mark Wahlberg, what he was asking, thousands of people do every single day.
And very few get approved.
Right. And like, it's not uncommon for somebody to say, I did this thing under the age of 18 and I'd like to get it expunged from my
please.
record.
Yeah.
Like, that's why there's a whole ass process for it. So if people were really upset about the nature of the crime, which they should have been,
Mhm.
I get it. But be upset about the nature of the crime. Don't be upset about him asking, 20, damn near 20 years later to have it expunged. People do that all of the time. Now,
But also, don't get in this man's business about him clearing a tweet that was very kindergarten. I thought it was something blasphemy and blah-da-da. It wasn't at all.
No,
It wasn't at all.
no, it wasn't. I mean, again,
It feels like people are just trying to cancel him for the sake of canceling him. Like,
yes.
the man he hasn't even cashed the check yet. The movie ain't out yet. Damn. Cut him
Well,
some
Right.
slack.
no, I mean, we cut white men a whole bunch of slack. This Asian man could do whatever he wants. Sorry.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Exactly. We have seen way worse tweets, way worse everything
it's the
from
same
plenty
double
of white
standard
stars
where
in Hollywood.
yeah,
Let this
minorities have to
man
be
with
held
his
to a
hot
higher
ass
standard.
live.
Yeah. Right. This hot man needs to do what this hot man wants to. If he
Mm.
wants to put milk toast tweets away, let him do that. If he wants to be friends with this white man, let him do that. He's hot. Hot people do what hot people want to do. Let this
He
hot
just
man
he
live.
They
just
live
wants
in
to
the
do kung
bubble.
fu.
Us
Right.
ugly asses, us ugmos don't live in the bubble. He lives in the bubble. Let him be.
Listen, I'm not ugly. But you call who you want to
I
call
mean, listen,
ugly.
I don't live in
You
that
do what you
bubble.
want.
Also, just on the side before we move to next story, Manira, you need to go check out some of these shirtless pictures of Mr. Lou online. All right, Eric, continue.
Don't mind if I do.
My last thing was that while the rest of us Americans on lockdown have to wait until Friday to see it, Wonder Woman 1984 opened up overseas in theaters, in
Okay.
particular in China.
I
The
do.
problem it is not doing well. So far, it has been out since Friday, and it has only made 38.5 million
Now, is it
overseas.
is it not doing well because there's something wrong with the movie, or is it not doing well because even though movie theaters are open in China, people aren't
Right.
going out to
Yeah,
the fucking
I
movies
think
because
it's
of
more
COVID?
so people aren't going to the movies.
That's
Um,
fair.
if they were smart, like let's see, it opened to 18 million in China, and then a couple of other spots where it opened up. At total, it is at 38.5 million.
Don't worry. Friday's
Yeah,
soon
I was gonna say
coming.
it's a $200 million sequel, and HBO smartly a couple weeks ago, knowing that they were putting this on HBO Max Christmas Day, they disabled free trials. So if you want it, you got to pay for at least a month of HBO Max.
I paid for a month of
Yeah,
HBO
I've renewed
Max.
my HBO Max. I'm down for this.
So my
And
mom and my
it's gonna be
sister.
in
Oh
can
shit! I
4K.
guess
get
I
it.
need to update mine.
It's gonna be in 4K on HBO Max, so I will be watching it
Yeah,
on
I'm good
my
with it.
new big ass TV.
I'm excited. I'm so excited. I can't
Yeah,
Maybe I'll
wait.
come to your house and watch it on your big ass TV too.
go for it. I've read a couple of reviews and everybody's saying how good it is. There's always one
It's
or two haters, but
beautiful.
yeah, they also released the first the intro to the movie, like it's with young Diana doing like games on Themyscira, and it
It's
looks
so
great.
cute. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
So excited.
yeah.
All
So
right. So
again, don't let the opening numbers fool you. This isn't Tenet. Tenet basically at this point has been considered a loss.
I gotta watch that still.
I
It's
still
really
haven't
good.
seen it.
People, it again, like any Christopher Nolan movie, there's going to be,
Haters.
it's a love or a hate thing.
I think it was just a little too overhyped. I think that if they just let it come out, it probably would have done better.
It would have done
You know what I
better
mean?
had
Then
Christopher Nolan not
Not been a
basically,
dick.
well, not so much being a dick. He was being an overzealous white man, thinking that he was the savior of cinema when there was still a very large
Dick.
problem going on in the world.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
yes, I myself love the cinema and risked it to go out and see it, and I enjoyed it personally. But at the same time, like, you're not Jesus of the cinema. Like, you're not going to save the world with one movie.
Nope.
So hopefully, with people getting officially vaccinated now, maybe by the summer we start getting those summer blockbuster back. Where we can actually go to a theater.
Well, I
We'll
mean,
see.
yeah, I don't know how confident I feel about the vaccines now, knowing that there's already another strand that this vaccine was not prepared for. Just
No.
saying.
It's basically a mutation of the same strand, and it's basically it doesn't change the lethality of it. It changes the contagious the what is it, the contagion of it. So like people
Yeah.
are more susceptible to it as opposed to the previous version.
Okay, but the current
The vaccine
vaccines
should
will
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they're
then-
saying the current vaccine will also take care of it because it's not like it's COVID-20.
And that's been COVID talk.
Yeah,
All right. Eric, you got any other news stories?
that's it.
All right.
That was good.
Yeah, that was good. Thanks, Eric. Let's get into it. Manira clearly loves the Mandalorian music. So we've wrapped season 2 of The Mandalorian. Eric, correct me if I'm wrong. they haven't already confirmed that there will be a season 3, correct?
I mean, as much money as this makes for Disney, yeah, they're definitely going to make a season 3.
Yeah.
Not just a season 3. They, as we talked about last week, they announced 9 new Star Wars properties.
Well, see, but here's
and
okay.
Technically 10.
Well, see, that's 10. Okay. So I think here's where we start. When we first heard of the Mandalorian, what now seems like forever ago, right? Do you remember a world before the Mandalorian? It was definitely
it was late 2018.
Yeah, and
back
we were
in a more hopeful time.
In a more hopeful time.
Stop looking wistfully.
But
remember
we
when we could go places and like if they would have been like oh, Mandalorian season 2 premiering in theaters, my ass would have been there seeing it in theaters.
Yep. Well, but here's the thing. But when it was originally introduced, it was definitely introduced as a limited series.
Yes.
And it doesn't seem.
Well, we didn't know that. They never said limited series. They were just like first live action Star Wars series.
I feel like they did. I feel like we were told originally it was a limited series.
I want to stick with Maria only because, and I think that you're heading this way, the way that it ended this way that this the final episode ended, I kind of felt a certain way.
Yeah. It felt like there was some finality to it.
Yeah.
The child is with, well, nah, fuck it. We're not even giving the spoiler alert. By the time you guys see or hear this, it's Monday.
Yeah, you've had the whole weekend.
Right. You should have seen it by now. Right.
But I mean, let's not start at the end. Let's make our way there.
What to do?
Right.
You guys are starting at the last 5 minutes of the fucking show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure
Suck it, Eric.
You want me to spoil all the shows? Selena Part 2, not gonna end well. Not sure if you know this. Spoiling it for you.
Asshole.
Do you want me to continue spoiling Greenland as I did before we started the episode?
Oh my gosh. All right. So the point that I was making.
Whole lot of people die.
The point that I was making was that coming into this season, I had a feeling like this would be the last season. Like how long could you go? And then with Disney making the announcement of these other basically 10 shows that are coming, I just don't see, especially with them announcing Cara Dune going off on the Rangers show.
Wait. Have they announced that?
I thought Eric said that last week.
Yeah, Rangers of the New Republic will include Cara Dune.
Yeah.
Well, basically what they announced was the Rangers of the New Republic, Ahsoka Tano, the Mandalorian, and I feel like there's one more. Probably the one that they announced at the very end, but that one they said is a limited series, like the Obi-Wan. I'm of course talking. I'll skip ahead to the end. They announced the Book of Boba Fett, which will premiere in December 2021. They did not mention that during the original investor call, and
they did not.
Well, no. They didn't want to spoil the ending of the season.
Yeah. So we will hold off on. But coming into this season, I was under the impression that there was a good chance this would be the last season. How far could they take this? And I really wasn't sure what to.
They can take it forever.
How far can they take it? How far could they take it that we would care?
Okay, here's the thing.
That's different.
Where the Mandalorian picks up, it's something like 3 to 5 years after the end of Return of the Jedi. You have like a 20-year gap to fill. That up until The Force Awakens and The Mandalorian, those are the only two things from that period. Like everything in between there that like came out between the 80s and 90s are now considered legends, and none of that counts anymore. So they have to fill all that space now.
I'm not sure if they're going to fill it with the I mean, they can fill it with the Mandalorian, especially if they. Well, we'll get there. So coming into the season, I wasn't quite sure what to expect. I definitely wanted it to be great. There are people that absolutely love it. And there are Star Wars fans that are very disappointed with this show and do not like it. I don't personally.
Right.
Who the fuck is that?
Listen, go out on the interwebs. You would be surprised how many people actually hate The Mandalorian.
There are a lot of stupid.
There are a lot of people out there that do. There are people, but there are people that don't appreciate basically it being made into a spaghetti Western, don't appreciate how closely it kind of follows a lone wolf and cub model. Like there are people.
Star Wars follows the model of fucking Kurosawa. George Lucas himself said that Kurosawa was his major influence.
Why are you yelling at me? Like I said, I don't like
Because you
it.
made me
I
mad
said
telling me that there are
that
people that
there
didn't enjoy
are
it.
people
Mad.
that don't like it. Don't be a fucking
And I
toxic
told
ass
you
Star Wars
there are
fan,
people
Eric.
who are dumb.
You shook his tree and he fell out, and now he's like,
The
"What you do
fruits of
that
anger have
for?"
landed.
Right?
Remember that episode about toxic fandom? Guys, this is an example of it right now,
No.
what Eric's doing.
It's not toxic to think that people have bad opinions.
Okay, fair enough. But there is a segment of the Star Wars fandom that does not like this show.
And we don't fuck with
And
them.
if you don't believe me, you can go, like I said, go look it on the interwebs. You can actually just go on YouTube and say, hate Mandalorian, and you'll get a whole bunch of
I'm
videos
sure.
of people who absolutely hate this show.
Some of the people legitimately hate it. Some of them are just trolling because people enjoy things. And of course, you can't have things that people enjoy without people fucking it up.
Yeah. So with that, coming into this season, I wasn't quite sure what to expect. And I didn't know what I wanted. And funny enough, I came in with no expectations, and I think it got a little slow, but I definitely by the end got what I wanted. And also thank you for confirming that our producer did confirm that season 3 was confirmed at the investors meeting, so we are getting another season.
Yeah.
So with that, let's get into it. What do you guys think about this season of The Mandalorian? Obviously picking up from what we discussed, when the season started to now. Did it go in a direction that you expected? Did it not? What did you guys get from it?
I enjoyed every episode. Every episode was very enjoyable. As a casual Star Wars watcher,
Mhm.
this made me very happy every week because even though there was some lore, I didn't have to know it to enjoy myself.
Mhm.
Um, and it made me a little bit interested in Clone Wars.
I was like,
And
if you did know the lore, then you would have been freaking the fuck out like I
yeah,
was.
no, I mean, everyone that that I know that knew the lore was losing their minds. But as someone who didn't, I was just like, well, this is really cool. This is the stuff that I would like to get into with Star Wars. Do I want to still be a part of that fandom? No, cause good. But this was all very enjoyable for me. I loved seeing Bo-Katan at the very end, and the way that she was I'm going to the end. At the very end, when she's like staring at at Din, like what Moff is saying is true, but I don't want to fight you. So how am I going to get my sword?
There's definitely some unresolved conflict that they'll have to pick up in a third season because
Mhm.
the history of the dark saber is expansive, and like the way that you have to get the dark
It's
saber.
the Elder Wand, y'all.
Right, but
Basically,
he's not
yeah.
going to fight. Like he's not going to fight her. He doesn't.
He
want
might
to
not
fight
want
her.
to, but I have a feeling she'll do some fucked up shit. Like
Just to make him fight her.
Bo-Katan has done, and it's another reason why I would say maybe you want to check out Rebels because it is a great series. But like Bo-Katan has done some fucked up things in the name of Mandalore. And,
Oh, she looks like she could get dirty.
Yeah, and like she basically, her sister was the princess of Mandalore, Satine Katan, and Darth Maul killed her.
Yeah.
So like she's been trying to get, like when Clone Wars ended, they had just taken back Mandalore from Darth Maul, but we have this gap of where the Darksaber was after the Clone Wars, outside of where it was in Rebels, when it was in the hands of Sabine Wren.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know where that goes. There's a lot of history to that saber, and if they want to go more into the history of Mandalore, I thought it was a great idea for them to like expand on Mandalorians from Mandalore and the fact that Din, aka the Mandalorian, is not from Mandalore.
Right.
So it's fucked up to say, but he's essentially a brainwashed child soldier.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know the actual history of Mandalore, which is where the whole helmet thing comes in.
And I enjoy that. I enjoy that he, like when she said he was a zealot, and slowly but surely you kind of see that he is kind of making his own
I like them
what
challenging
he does.
him on.
Yeah, what he believes and what he'll stand for as a Mandalorian. I enjoy that immensely. Ahsoka Tana is fantastic.
Yeah.
She's lovely. Rosario Dawson did a very good job just being Rosario Dawson, and her interaction with Grogu. That episode,
That there was a lot in
fantastic.
that
There
episode.
was a lot in that episode.
Even so much of them
and
calling it the Jedi.
right, and a lot of information that I know that is important, but I don't know it. But I
I
know
was
that it was
I was
important.
hoping they would have gotten that line off from Ahsoka Tano because the term Jedi is plural to begin with, so they weren't talking about her because she is not a Jedi. She never finished the Jedi Academy, and like one of the last things she said to what's name before the final season of Clone Wars was that she's not a Jedi, and she doesn't want to be because her going through the Jedi Academy through the 7 seasons of Clone Wars, like they fucked her over, and she no longer trusts the Jedi Academy. And then everything that happens with Anakin kind of cements that.
I enjoyed that episode. I want to know about Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah. Then you got to watch
Oof.
Rebels.
I want to know. Well, I mean, I guess I have to because I will be watching the Ahsoka.
Here's the thing about Thrawn, and Eric, you can correct me if you disagree.
Grand Admiral Thrawn is a big thing, but like he comes in Rebels. Grand Admiral Thrawn is one of the few characters from the Star Wars Legends, which is like stuff from the books that came out after Return of the Jedi that when Disney bought LucasArts, they basically cut out all of that. But Grand Admiral Thrawn is one of the few characters that they brought back, and they brought him in Rebels. And he's an amazing bad guy.
He is, of the entire Star Wars universe, for me, he is one of the best villains. By far,
he's one of those smart villains that like studies everything, and like when they show him on Rebels, they do a really good job of like bringing it in from the books, where like he doesn't learn about his enemy, he learns about their culture, he learns about like he takes trinkets from every culture that he kind of conquers. So he's a very big villain, and if they were to bring him in live action, I would be super excited.
So yeah, I want to do that. The ending, I mean, we knew that Baby Yoda, I'm sorry, Grogu was,
because that was a big thing to begin with. Like we got a name. He has a name now.
And the way that when he does, like he knows.
He's like a dog when you call his name. It's like Grogu.
It's so cute. I mean, we were building up to him leaving. I knew that it was Luke. Only because I was watching it with my boyfriend. No. Well, here's the thing. Okay, so
because I was not spoiled, I got up super early to watch it. Like I was gonna stay up until midnight to watch it, and then I remembered
I thought that you did,
and I fell asleep.
I was spoiled, and it still didn't matter.
I got up at like 8 a.m, and I was like, I don't care what I do, I'm watching this first before the internet spoils it for me.
Yeah, no, I wasn't spoiled. I watched it late Friday with my boyfriend. We watched it on FaceTime, and he had said when Grogu was on his little on the Jedi stone, he was like, oh, I wish that it would be Ezra, because he's a big Ezra fan. And so he was like, maybe that's who it is. And so
I thought that would have been a cool thing, because like the way Rebels ends with Ezra's fate, kind of, you don't know where he went. He's with Thrawn, but you don't know how that went, and it's been a while. So like I would have enjoyed seeing that as well.
And the fact that he didn't get excited, but everything was really cool, I was like, okay, well then it's not Ezra. But then, as everyone knows from last week, I love Rogue One. I've watched it entirely too many times. I've cried too many times.
It's easily my favorite film outside of the original
trilogy. Yeah, it's amazing.
But that hallway scene with Darth Vader, Luke got his own hallway scene.
I was legit surprised, because I was like, when they showed the single X-Wing coming up, I was like, Luke Skywalker is the only person that flies his own X-Wing, but they wouldn't put Luke Skywalker in the TV show. Yeah. And then as soon as I saw that green lightsaber, I was like, oh, fuck.
And
no way.
He was fantastic, but I didn't think that it was Mark Hamill. I thought, like everyone else, that it was going to be Sebastian Stan, because they do look similar, and they have
the same chin.
Yes. Yeah. So then when he like lifts up a little bit, I screamed, "Is that Sebastian Stan?" And then the hood raised, and I literally went, "Oh my God, no!" And started, getting upset because I knew Grogu was going to go with them. It's
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker. Like, why not? And then I got sad because I was like, well, I know what happened to all the little Jedis,
The younglings.
yeah, that went with him. Fuck Ben Solo. Like, did he kill Grogu?
It depends. Like Yoda's species, again, we don't know their actual name, but like Yoda lived to be over 900 years old. So like a 50-year-old Grogu is still legitimately a baby, if not a
Yeah.
toddler. So he's
Wait,
got a long way to go.
Was Yaddle older than Yoda?
We don't know because she had like 2 scenes in the Phantom Menace, and that's it.
And everyone pretends like she doesn't exist.
Well, she
Well,
most definitely exists.
yeah.
And like I was watching this whole like fan theory thing of somebody saying because there's so few in their species and Jedis aren't supposed to procreate, but they allow them to procreate if their species is endangered or what have you.
You think they got busy?
So the interwebs think they got busy. I don't
I feel like it's
so.
lazy to think.
I think that's lazy writing.
Just because Yoda and what's her name,
and
Yaddle,
Yaddle.
were also Jedi. Like
Yaddle?
you act like if you have a whole species, because it's that same thing where like 2 coworkers can't exist without wanting to fuck each other. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
That's like
I
saying
do
that
think
every
was...
human male Jedi and human female Jedi want to fuck. Like, get out of here.
So one of the things that I want to talk about a little bit is kind of some of the directing choices and what I felt about some of the episodes, because while I thought that overall the season was great, there were a couple of episodes that were straight up misses for me.
Some of them felt like filler.
Yeah. I think the one that did that the most was The Siege, which was the episode or chapter 12, which was directed by Carl Weathers, where they go back.
Listen, Carl Weathers is not a director.
It was a bad episode. Like, I love this show. That episode was bad. It was the shot,
the one where he goes back to and they have to go to the cloning facility and get that little information. Yeah, it felt like a filler episode. It felt like a backdoor pilot for that Rangers of the New Republic.
It was a backdoor pilot.
Yeah, in the end, what's her name? The dad from Kim's Convenience gives her the badge, and she basically becomes a ranger. And I was like, okay, I know where this is going.
It was not good. On multiple levels. I think that a lot of the scenes were not shot well. I think that there were periods of time, like there's only but so many expressions that Gina Carano can manage. So when you leave the camera on her face for longer than 5 seconds, expecting the reaction to give us some insight into what she's thinking, it doesn't, because she's not a good actress.
You're not going to watch this Rangers show?
It depends on who else is on it. But
yeah, no,
it's Rescue Rangers,
Carano, fuck that.
Yeah. But I think of all of the episodes, that was by far the weakest for me.
Well, the biggest problem with that episode is that it followed up The Heiress, where they revealed Bo-Katan and the other Mandalorians, and you had this big thing when she's like, at the end, hey, go find Ahsoka Tano, and they're like, oh wait, but we got to make a stop first.
We got to make a stop. Also, I feel like a complete dodo bird because I didn't realize that the other Mandalorian that's hanging out with Bo-Katan is fucking Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
The wrestler. I didn't know who she was to begin with. And then
looking
people were like,
at
she's
her,
Sasha Banks.
I kept looking at her like, why does she look familiar? Why do I know this face?
I kept wondering who did that stupid braid that she has that like goes across the front of her face.
She did. Get out of here.
You leave Snoop Dogg's little cousin alone.
Because of the helmet, like, it gives you not a lot of options when it comes to hairstyles, but like maybe get a haircut. Bo-Katan was like, I'm going to get this stupid little cut, and
her hair is so derpy, but she nailed it. Like in real life, the hair looks just as derpy as it does on the cartoon. It was perfect.
Yeah, and one of the big things for fans of the Clone Wars is that the actual actress, Katie Sackhoff, who plays the voice of Bo-Katan, played the live action version.
She was phenomenal. Cool. She is phenomenal as Bo-Katan. Yeah. I just want to, and
I wondered why, because like I think I follow her YouTube channel and she was like getting in really good shape, and I was like, oh, I bet they're gonna really bring her back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I felt like that episode was a terrible follow-up to the Heiress, and it was just bad.
You like left us up here, and they were like,
Yep.
I think it was a good idea though, because it let us let our batteries cool down a little bit, and we're like, okay, all right.
But
and then whoa, Ahsoka Tano.
But here was the problem for me with them doing that. There was a point, I as much as you guys love the Marshal, I didn't. It was like meh. And then the second episode that I thought was trash was The Passenger, which came right. I hate that episode.
That was a bottle episode, if ever there was.
It was not good.
We got ice spiders like we were supposed to in Game of Thrones. Don't do that. Don't do that, madam. Don't do that.
Listen.
You don't like nice things, so this makes sense. You like trash. This makes sense. I struggled with I didn't struggle as much with the first episode, because while I wasn't crazy about the Marshal, it wasn't a bad episode. It's just it wasn't my cup of tea, which is fine. Every season will have at least one episode that I'm like, meh. But then they followed up with The Passenger, and I'm like, this is a complete waste of my fucking time. If this is where the season is going, of my time.
I'm going to be upset.
Well, they had to build it up. Like, think about the first 2 episodes of the first season.
Hear me out, guys. So when I went into the third episode, The Heiress, which was amazing, I'm like, okay, we're back on track. We're good. And then they gave me that stupid Siege episode, and I was like, this is bullshit. They better redeem it. And they did when we get to the lovely Ahsoka Tano. But that said, 2 weak-ass episodes. Carl Weathers directed one. Peyton Reed directed the other, who is also supposed to be directing one of the spinoff shows, is he not?
Yeah, Peyton Reed also famously directed the 2 Ant-Man movies. He's a really good director. Also, he
wasn't a really good director with that fucking Passenger episode. It was trash.
He also directed the season finale.
And that's where I was going to go. But he redeemed himself with that season finale, because that was an excellent episode.
Redeem himself?
I was going to say, there's also a lot of deep Star Wars cuts in that in the Passenger episode.
You stood up here and in our faces were like, but New Mutants. You sit down for a while.
Hey, for a while. You, that movie is not as terrible as you would have been. I stand by my baby.
Madam.
Okay, here's the thing. It's not terrible in the same way that the episode of The Passenger is not terrible. It's just extremely forgettable.
Yes, that's true, which is what made it the second worst episode to me. But that Siege was actually
the
terrible.
Siege was legitimately a backdoor pilot.
It was awful. So it's not like the season was without flaws. But that said, you followed up that garbage can of The Siege with the Dave Filoni directed episode of
and
The
they
Jedi.
Couldn't have given it to anybody better, because Ahsoka Tano is his character.
And it was amazing.
Not to mention, not just Ahsoka Tano, which is great. Rosario Dawson did a great job, not only looking the part, but sounding like actress Ashley Eckstein, who plays the voice of Ahsoka Tano, which fans were really mad because she didn't get unlike Katie Sackhoff, who played the character in the cartoon and in the live action. People wanted her to come in and play the live action version of Ahsoka Tano.
But does she look like Ahsoka? Because
she does not. Rosario Dawson,
just like her.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
People will say what they will, but Rosario Dawson has full lips, much like Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka Tano doesn't look like a white woman in the face.
Yeah,
she does not.
It's the lips, and it's also like her.
And her nose. Yeah, because she also has a fuller nose.
Yeah.
Not to mention, it's probably a lot easier to turn a brown person orange than it is to turn a white person orange.
It's very much making it very
look stupid.
Easy. I mean, John Carter of Earth should have taken that, but
yeah. No, but not just them. She did a great job, but also Michael Biehn. Michael Biehn shows up. He's fucking Michael Bean.
And tries to do a draw with Din, and Din was like, nope. Right where
Yeah.
you die,
Right, we're not doing that.
Love me some Michael Bean. Even if he's the bad guy and he shows up for like 10 lines, it's Michael Bean. Can't go wrong.
Done with him, like them taking him in and then him coming back like Bill Burr did.
I will say I was not expecting them to bring Bill Burr back.
I was happy they did, though.
Out of all of them, I felt like they should have given him more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's the second person for that episode to come back because Richard Ayoade came back as Zero, the robot, even for like 3 lines in the passenger episode.
I thought that he did. I really enjoyed his whole thing about the effects of war.
Yeah,
and like
Operation Cinder.
Yeah.
That's a deep cut for Star Wars fans.
Great.
If you play Star Wars Battlefront 2, that's basically the operation where after Order 66, Palpatine, after Palpatine's death, they were like, "Hey, guess what? You guys don't want to follow the Empire? Then we're just gonna rain fire on your planets. Fuck you guys."
Fun.
Yeah, but again, I didn't think like. They did that thing where they turn a bad guy good, and I was like, while he was the least bad of that group, I was like,
he was
I didn't really need
technically bad.
I feel like he could go and live in that village and turn that village around. Well,
yeah, I do like that they just left him on that.
Yeah, they just left him on that planet. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, and I just think that all the way around, that was probably one of the strongest episodes of the season. I liked that we got the hints on bringing Grand Admiral Thrawn in the mix at some point, whether it's on this show or which will probably be on Ahsoka's show.
Yeah, that was another backdoor pilot episode.
Yeah.
And it was lovely.
But it was done
It was
well.
a good one, right?
Like that's
yeah, it was
the
done
difference.
better than the other one.
Like the difference between that episode and The Siege is that The Jedi actually makes me look forward to whatever this is a backdoor pilot for. The Siege left me wondering, number one, what I know they're trying to shop something to me, but what are they trying to shop?
Gina Carano.
I don't want it because this looks like trash.
Well, Gina Carano.
Did you keep your receipt? Because it's, if not,
I don't think Microsoft's going to give you a refund on that one.
No.
Yeah, I also thought that the fight between Morgan Elsbeth and Ahsoka Tano was very well done. I like the fact that, quite honestly, they didn't go too crazy with the effects, and they kept it to like a straight.
Well, the actress, what's her name?
Diana Lee Inosato. Yeah.
She is a professional stunt woman, and she's done stunts for tons of amazing movies, and she is like
that makes sense.
Legit badass.
Mm-hmm.
Her stance kind of read like, I'm a badass.
Yeah.
Listen,
It wasn't like, Rosario Dawson where they, from behind they get a different stunt woman.
Right.
But, no, she was legit doing all that shit, and she was fucking badass.
Everything about how that fight was shot was beautiful. And I think that one of the overarching things, and we haven't even gotten into the last episode because there was so much to unpack there, but one of the things that I felt that we got to see a lot this season was really, really strong female characters, and them highlighting these really strong female characters.
They do a big thing of that in the last episode.
Oh my gosh.
All I could think in my head was
excited.
Frenchie from The Boys talking about, what is it, girls getting it done?
Right, but not in a cheesy way. Like it wasn't done cheesy. Like, Boba, get out of here. We got this. Mando, you do what you're supposed to do. We got this. No worries.
Speaking of, episode 7, The Believer. I'm not The Believer, The Tragedy, episode 6, After the Jedi, like when he takes Grogu. Yeah, he takes Grogu to the Jedi temple, and he's like, "Hey, put him on there." And then Boba Fett just shows up. He's like, "Hey, bro, my armor, bro."
And directed by Robert Rodriguez. So kind of surprised me. I thought that the action sequences were very well done.
They were very toned down for Robert Rodriguez.
And that's what I was going to say. Afterwards, when I saw who directed it, I was like, wait, what? Did somebody give him a Zanny or something?
I'm pretty sure Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau were like, bro, chill. We do all this inside. Like,
Yeah, because
Calm it down a little.
there were no like titty cannons. Like there was not a lot of the craziness you normally
Well,
get.
they did give you some fun new Boba Fett weapons. Like he has knee rockets, and things like that. And just the reveal of Boba Fett in this new, like his new outfit looks pretty badass. And then the episode after,
I
he
love
apparently
him.
goes and
Painted
gets it
it and stuff.
repainted,
Yeah.
but he leaves the dent.
Here's the thing about Boba Fett to me. In the past, I felt that he has been one of the most overrated characters
Oh,
in
yeah,
all of Star
absolutely
Wars
is.
canon. Like by far. I
Well,
loved the
as far
fact
as the
that
movie, they gave him kind of this
yeah,
big redemption arc in Legends, and I'm hoping in the Book of Boba Fett, which is the new show miniseries, like they go through, if they do anything similar to how he survived the Sarlacc pit in those books, which is basically how he kind of gets a telepathic connection to somebody in the Sarlacc pit, and he's able to blast his way out. I would take that, or basically show us how the crate dragon basically ate its way through the Sarlacc pit and he got out that way, which explains all the scarring and whatnot. But I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, I just think that the two episodes that he was primarily in with the tragedy and the believer. I mean, you see him in the rescue, but not he's not as big of a deal there, obviously, because girls get it done.
He basically just drops them off. He's like,
right.
all right, guys, call
All
me
right,
when you need a ride back.
kids, right. Let me know when you're done shopping.
Let me know, bruv. I'll pick you up. All right.
I think that they did a really fantastic job of making me, as a longtime Star Wars fan, become reinterested in that character. Especially like the exchange that he has with Bo-Katan and Sasha Banks. I can never remember her character's name, but the exchange about him being a clone,
a real Mandalorian,
and real,
I
like
did like
all
the
of that
fact
was
that
so well done.
The line where she's like, "I don't know you, but I heard your voice a million times," because all of the clones are from Jango Fett, and they all have the same voice and the same face. He is the only difference about him is that he was raised naturally, and he grew up at the normal age where all the clones were aged up to be ready to fight. So I thought that was a good touch, not just to the Clone Wars, but just like to the character of Boba Fett in general.
Absolutely. Again, they made Boba interesting, where he stopped being interesting a very long time ago. So
it's because he got kicked off of a ship by a blind man.
Yeah,
and fell into the Sarlacc pit.
Fair. But that said, though, which then makes it crazy that people have basically
so
like
much
fetishized this character who dies.
Well,
or we thought he was dead.
We all knew he was alive based on the books, but like it's what they attempted to do with Captain Phasma, but they didn't go into like anything. Like they had the comic book, which was great, but then like after The Last Jedi, they were just like, all right, well, we're gonna kill her off now. And I'm assuming J.J. Abrams was like, nope, she's dead. I don't feel like bringing her into my third movie. So whatever. Have fun, Kristen or Gwendolyn.
That's so ridiculous. But I digress. I think that was done really, really well. And, again, Peyton Reed kind of redeemed himself for me with that last episode. So I think we're at a point where we can, because
they brought in fucking dark troopers.
Yeah.
And they
that was a
improved
lot.
them.
Yeah.
Because the dark troopers have been in like the old video games, like what's the dark
Crystal?
No. They had a bunch of old PC games.
I'm helping. Don't do that. I'm helping.
Dark Forces. That's one of the first games where you see the dark troopers, but like you can even tell, and they even mentioned it in the thing. He was like, yeah, they're not suits of armor anymore. They are full on robots.
Yeah.
Which is the natural progression. And I was like, yeah. Plus Moff Gideon is a fucking badass.
Oh, not against the Red Viper though. Get out of here.
Listen.
I got worried, and then I was like, what are you worried for? It's Oberyn. Stop it. You know what he does. He's fantastic.
Listen, all of the fight sequences in that last episode were fantastic. The whole girls get it done vibe. I know that there are going to be fanboys out there that hated that shit. Fuck you. It was great.
It was well done.
I was gonna say it was even really cool. Like they jumped off the side, so the troopers didn't know they were there, and like, oh no, we're trapped. And then the other two Mandalorians fucking jetpack up and blast them. It's like, that's just smart. And it
It
was
was
kind of awesome.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know that there will be fanboys. Notice I keep saying fanboys who are going to be upset that you had pretty much 30 to 40% of this episode us following the ladies getting shit done.
Well, then I will pull their fucking nerd card and tell them if they don't enjoy it, they didn't love the Clone Wars and they can fuck right off. Because Bo-Katan is a major character in that series. Eat my balls. That shit was awesome.
It was just militarily well done.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And I
And
thought,
because they're Mandalorian, that's what the fuck they do. They fuck
Yeah.
shit up.
well, I mean, but also you can't sleep on the other two either because they were
Ming Na went
wrecking.
in.
She was.
I am excited. I hope she
wrecking
shows up
shit.
in Rangers of the New Republic. And they also confirmed in the Bad Batch, her character shows up. So I'm hoping she does the voice.
Yeah. I'm excited to
Ooh.
see my Space Mulan. I love her.
Not Space
She's getting
Mulan.
all the Disney money.
She is.
She's Mulan. She was in Agents of Shield, and now she's
Mhm.
in the Mandalorian and all these other shit. Get your money, and not
She's
to not to mention, like,
badass.
she's a 50-plus-year-old woman.
She
There's not
is.
many action roles for women that age outside of Michelle Yeoh.
Hold on.
Yeah.
But also though, did you see her? Like she's a 50-year-old woman out
She
there.
threw that leg up.
Yeah,
making Gina Carano look stupid. Let's
She
just be
really
honest.
did. She really she was like, my gun's jammed. And I'm like, get out of here before I shoot you. Like, what are you doing?
Oh my gosh. So now that we've kind of gone through the season, now let's talk about it, right? Luke comes.
yeah. When
comes to get-
everything seems lost,
Everything seems
Deus
lost.
Ex Machina, Luke Skywalker shows up out of nowhere.
Now, the hallway scene. It is badass. It is not Vader Rogue One badass though. And I appreciated that they didn't make it
It's kind
better.
of badass that way. Like he pulls some Vader moves, and you
He
could
does.
tell,
He does.
he shows up in the outfit that he wore at the end of Return of the
Mhm.
Jedi, the all black, and he's just badass with his cloak.
Yes. But it's
He
still
straight up
not
crushes shit with the Force, and
Yeah, but he crushed one. He should have been crushing more, but I digress. I think that what I enjoyed about it was they gave him that badassery without taking away from what Vader did in Rogue One. So that you can actually be like, holy shit, he's fucking going ham. But at the same time, but it's still not Vader. Like,
Yeah.
I like the fact that it wasn't almost like a legit one for one, like they did the exact same things and it was just as badass. Because it wasn't. It was very badass. And it was probably one of the most badass moments on the show.
also Manira.
Still not more badass than Vader.
If you want to look it up, the actor is named Max Lloyd Jones. He was the double for Luke Skywalker. He has the same chin. So
Does he?
that makes a lot
Him,
of sense,
Sebastian
too.
Stan, and
Yeah.
Mark Hamill.
They've
They've all got the chin.
They
that
all
butt
got
chin.
that butt chin.
Yeah.
But you know that there are actually a lot of people that are upset that they didn't have Sebastian Stan do it and instead decided to go with the CG. And I'm like, nah, I'm good with it.
I'm good with it. I
No.
would have been fine had if they were gonna like legit make this a spin-off and spin off to Luke Skywalker, young Luke Skywalker. Yes, recast it like they did with Solo. And there are people that look just like Mark Hamill.
Mhm.
But if this is just going to be a quick thing and he shows up once or twice and you film him from afar, so he's kind of
Completely
perfectly
okay with
fine.
it.
the technology's come a long way. It doesn't look like Tron Legacy anymore, and even then that looked okay for its time.
Mhm,
Like
mhm.
people just want, as I mentioned to you guys earlier, if you didn't know that wasn't Mark Hamill, you wouldn't be able to tell them. Like if you didn't know Mark Hamill was 60 plus years old,
Yeah.
you'd be like, oh, okay, this guy, like if you've never seen Star Wars, you'd be like, oh, this guy's a badass. I want to see more of him.
Mhm.
Okay, go back 40 years.
Yep.
But it's
And
the
he
same
was
thing
kind
with
of a
like,
bitch 40 years ago. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
and again, this is like 3 to 5 years after the end of Return of the
Right.
Jedi, where he's been able to actually hone his craft and be a badass and connect with the Force and like get up to that point where in the Last Jedi he's projecting himself across the fucking galaxy and still being a badass.
So bad.
This is the Luke Skywalker that 10-year-old Eric and every other fucking dork ass Star Wars fan wanted after
Yes.
Return of the Jedi, and we
Yes.
never really got
We did not.
outside of the books.
Yep. So I think that with that, let's talk a little bit before we wrap.
Also, Mark
Um,
Hamill came back and did the voice, so that was great.
That was I was very happy that it was his voice and not insert random
because
actor.
they do sound alikes all the time, like
Mhm.
especially for like the Lego Star Wars movies and stuff like that.
He
Yeah.
would come back. I don't
Yeah.
see why he wouldn't.
No, he's not one of those people. He's not like Harrison Ford, where he was like, "I only did it because they told me they'd kill me off." I hate the fandom and I hate everyone because I'm an old ornery old man. Like
Well, fuck
Mark
him.
Hamill is a very nice man and he enjoys the
Mhm.
fans as long as they're not shitbags.
Yeah. So let's kind of wrap up. I think we're all in agreement that the season was fantastic. I think that we're generally excited about the direction that the new Disney Star Wars universe is going. With
I'm a little cautiously optimistic. Like I think sometimes they can do too much of a good thing.
Mhm.
Like
So
I like that it was just the Mandalorian for a solid year, and that's what everybody was eating up.
mhm.
Any little table scraps of Mandalorian we were happy with.
So where do you think the show goes in season 3?
I have a feeling that there has to be a time jump. Like give me a couple years, and then we can go get Grogu back, and maybe he's an inch or two taller, and they can have somebody do mocap for him instead of playing by puppet. But
I've got to get another Grogu.
make Grogu a little badass. Make him
He's
a little
not going to
young
be a
Jedi.
child forever.
No, basically put him to the same point where like Ahsoka Tano was when we meet him at the beginning of the Clone Wars show.
But he's so
like
cute
a young
now.
teenager.
Or at least
Grogu.
have him talking. Can we just be there?
He needs to talk.
Because listen, I understand that Yoda was like 900 plus and clearly he spoke, but at 50, he ain't learned no words yet. You 50.
I love the coos. I don't need any talking.
I would say even Yoda talked a little weird for his age. English isn't his first language. God.
Okay, so here's what I would hope they go. I was completely okay with Grogu leaving with Luke because as adorable and as much as I love him, they went
Don't sound like you love him.
They went a little overboard with just the shots of his cuteness.
Madam, I ate every one of those shots.
Listen, it is the equivalent of when your friends have babies and all of a sudden every single thing you see is the baby.
That baby is the reason we have 9 new Star Wars, 10 new
I
Star Wars
love
properties.
the baby. I wanna hug the baby, but sometimes I like to see a picture of something that's not the baby. Is that okay? Like,
no, my baby's adorable. What do you mean?
Show me what you cooked for dinner
Look
last night.
how cute my baby is.
Listen, show me what you cooked for dinner last night, and then you can show me the cute picture of the baby wearing what you cooked for dinner. But let's not just jump straight to the cute picture.
I'm going to show you the
baby.
Right. I'm going to show you the baby cooking
his
food.
Face.
Right.
Okay, so first off, listeners and viewers, I have on my Star Wars hoodie because it's cold, and underneath it, you know what I'm wearing? My Grogu t-shirt. So I don't hate the baby. I love him.
You sound like you hate him.
I just need less of him on my screen.
You sound like you hate him.
It would be the equivalent if every time I sent you guys anything online, it was just pictures of my adorable little puppy. Like, y'all get tired of seeing Zazzy. If everything was like, look at what Zazzy's doing today, you'd get tired of it.
But you sound like you hate him.
I don't want to get tired of him.
I could never get tired of that face. Look at that face. Look at him hold his little mouth. Look at him.
I know, it's so cute. It's so
Those
cute.
big eyes. And
Eric,
you're telling
put
him
him
you
down.
hate him. Look at him. He's so cute. God, he's cute.
I love him
so
in pieces.
And then now that he scurries and he like walks. Oh God. I can't.
Anywho,
He's a heavy little baby.
I'm hopeful that next season we get more of this Mandalore action. I don't think they would, but it would be great to get Sabine Wren. I love Sabine.
I would hope Sabine comes back.
Oh my gosh,
They
I'd be
announced
so
that
excited.
basically all of those shows will have like the new Rangers of the New Republic, Ahsoka Tano, the Mandalorian, and I think one of the others. They'll basically have like a crossover Defenders
event.
Yeah, like a Crisis on Infinite Earth event based on all of them because they all take place in the same timeline at the same time.
I love it.
Yeah,
I want it. I want all of it.
I would hope season 3 of the Mandalorian. I hope he goes to find out, what happened to Mandalore, if Mandalore really is, destroyed. I would hope Bo-Katan basically tries to help him unbrainwash himself, because if you didn't know, based on like the Clone Wars and Rebels, he is a child of the Death Watch, and the Death Watch were famously they tried to stage a coup of Mandalore. So while they're heroes in his eyes, he is essentially a child soldier, brainwashed from birth to, well, not birth, but, from a very young age to only follow this creed.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be nice to see him kind of see Pedro Pascal's face a little bit more. I know he's only in the suit like 20% of the time, and the rest of it's like stunt guys.
Also, that scene at the end where he had to say goodbye and he teared up.
Stop it. Stop it. But you don't want to see that. You don't want
No. I don't want we're flying through space.
Notice everyone, she's changing.
And he doesn't even have the cute little ball toy that he's playing with.
She's
just
decided
sitting
to change. Do you see her?
his fucking car seat.
Look at her changing.
Yeah, I don't want that. No,
She's
you're right. I don't
now.
want that. I want meaningful
Look at her
shots
change.
of the child.
Do you see her changing?
I'm not changing. My opinion is exactly the same. I don't need to watch him cooing for 30 minutes of a 35-minute show. I don't need that.
I do.
I would like them whenever they
just want a little nanny cam. Just
whenever they
him
do
all
bring
day long.
Grogu back, I would like to see him basically do what Carl did on The Walking Dead, where suddenly Carl goes from being an annoying ass baby to being a little badass and shooting zombies in the face.
And never staying in the house.
Yeah. Like what if there's a season finale and instead of Luke showing up in his X-Wing, it's Grogu that shows up to save the day.
Mm-hmm. In an X-Wing?
And he's just fucking crushing droids and
with that cute little three fingers hand, just being like, yeah. I want that
it works. It worked for fucking Yoda. That was the best scene in fucking Attack of the Clones. Was the Yoda fight?
It worked for me when he was force choking Gina Carano.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
He was like, "Don't touch my space, Daddy."
Right. She was hurting you. Yes, I'll kill her. No worries.
Oh my gosh. All right, so I think we can wrap up with this. We fucking love Star Wars. We love this show. We're excited about it coming back. I think we're equally as excited about all of the new shows coming up, well, except for Rangers. But we'll give it a shot. We'll see where it goes.
I'm hoping Rangers is more like if it's with the dad from Kim's Convenience, who I can seem to never remember his name, but make it about like X-Wing pilots. And I was hoping I assume we'll probably see Bill Burr back in that show. Maybe he becomes like a good guy and he becomes a Ranger of the New Republic. So
listen,
I see that.
I don't want it to just be about Gina Carano's character.
I don't think she's a good enough actress, and I hope that Disney recognizes that she is not a good enough actress to carry a whole fucking show.
No.
So as long as they realize that, we should be good. We haven't gotten any casting news on that.
Steven Soderbergh definitely realized that after Haywire. You're great for the action scenes, but
right.
We
haven't gotten any casting news for that show yet, right?
Nope.
All right, so we'll have to wait and see.
We also got the news, we got that end credit scene that we didn't talk about Boba Fett basically storming Jabba the Hutt's castle, where his new guy, what is his name?
I don't remember his name.
He's been it's not the same guy from Return of the Jedi, but it is the same guy who last played him in The Phantom Menace.
And he done got fluffy, y'all. He enjoyed that hut life.
Yep.
Hut life.
Or at least he was enjoying that hut
Bib
life.
Fortuna. That's his name.
So he got shot.
Yeah. Boba Fett walks in. He was like him and his badass friend Ming-Na, aka Fennec. They were like, "This is our castle now. Pow pow! Get out of here, slave girl."
The slave girl was like, "Am I your guys' slave now?
Can I go? Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go now.
Yep. He was like, "This is my throne. I got all my armor back. I'm a badass again.
I live here."
So I was just as excited when I saw that scene as I was watching Luke go through the hallway.
I was more excited about Luke. I was very excited about Boba Fett. I was also, this is a big nerd thing, and this is a Star Wars fan said we've been wondering this since 1980 when Return of the Jedi and Empire came out. We never saw the inside of the slave one outside of the cockpit, and they finally explained how it turns when it flies. Like you see the interior of the ship turning, but the center is solid in one piece. So like I have a gigantic Slave One Lego thing, and you don't do that when you put it together. So now we know.
Watching it fly was pretty fucking badass.
I was like, and he used the fucking sonic bombs that they used in Attack of the Clones.
Yep.
So it was very a good day for me as a Star Wars nerd.
As a nerd.
Yeah, no, it was very well done. It leaves me very excited for the other Star Wars shows that are to come. Let's just see what they do. Now we got to hurry up and wait, right? Because it's going to be a minute before.
Well, if you didn't know, the Book of Boba Fett has already almost finished filming.
Oh, really?
They've been filming it since right after the Mandalorian finished.
Oh, that's
and
smart.
They got shut down for a little bit. Like Disney knows what they're doing. They know how to, like, they know that the moment they bring back Boba Fett, they're basically printing their own money.
Yeah.
So they were like, let's get this done. Let's get it out of the way. And I know they've already been filming. So that's probably, it'll be more than done. Kind of like how Mandalorian, the second season started filming in January of 2020.
Yeah.
And they were done before the COVID shutdown.
Yeah.
Because they have the volume, which is where they film the indoors and the digital backgrounds, they can film pretty fast.
Do we know if this one's currently filming? If they're currently filming this now?
What, the Mandalorian?
Yeah.
No, not yet. I'm pretty sure they've already written it out, but at the same time, like everything got shut down for COVID, so they're probably a couple months behind. But we'll probably
and everyone's
still see
doing
it
different
next
things too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not like it takes, again, Pedro Pascal is only in the suit like 20% of the time. That's why he was able to go off and film Wonder Woman 84 and all that other stuff.
Right, but isn't Dave Filoni the showrunner for Ahsoka?
Yes.
So,
but I mean,
he can do it
all
all.
Takes place in the same building. Like
he can do it
all right.
He's hanging around Skywalker Ranch all the time.
All right. Well, with that, guys,
he basically just lives there.
You hear how much we love this. Now let's see what you guys had to say. So, Manira, it's time for your grab bag. Yeah. Back to it.
Okay. Spoiler alert. Neither one of these emails is about the Mandalorian because these two bing bongs just decided that they were going to talk about whatever they wanted to talk about. So the subject line says, been a while. Here we go. What's up, guys? It's your boy Mad Monkey, just checking in. First, I wanted to say, keep up the great work. Always looking forward to listening every Monday on my way to work. Second, listening to the news last week, I noticed Eric didn't mention the addition to She-Hulk with the Hulk and Abomination joining the show.
Sorry,
damn, he's just coming for you.
There was like 800 other stories we were trying to get to and still review a game.
He continues. The show also
Google it.
Also, My Hero season 5 starts March 27th. Nobody cares. So now maybe the other heroes of 1A can get some Deku.
No one cares about Deku, but I care about the show.
Can get some Deku and Red Riot Shine. Laugh out loud. I cannot believe you made me say laugh out loud on air. Anyways, while you guys are waiting for that, maybe check out Talentless Nana. It's so good, and it's still on one season.
Okay.
Is it Nana or Nana? Is it somebody's grandma doing something? I don't know.
Nana.
I would normally say Nana, thinking like a grandma, but maybe it's I don't know.
Well, I mean, or you could be like the ill Nana, like Foxy Brown. So,
which is what I said. Talentless Nana.
Some would say that about Foxy Brown. Boom, burn.
Yikes!
She can't hear me. It's all right.
That's not nice. That's not nice. And stop giggling. Don't be proud of yourself. I hope you choke on that water.
I'm just thirsty, guys. Just thirsty.
Funny. Okay. All right. So thank you for that. Whatever. The next one goes to Corey. Cyber what? Hey folks, Corey here to talk about Cyberpunk a little bit. I just went ahead and got my refund on Xbox. Ooh. I realized I wasn't liking the game that I was okay. I realized that I wasn't liking the game much. The story was actually getting good, but everything else seemed so dull to me, including the shooting, driving, weaponry, and leveling. Anybody anybody care to
It depends
comment?
on on your view of a game like that, because
Yeah,
it's the same
yeah.
as if like you were playing Fallout or any other RPG. It it depends on what you're into.
Okay. All right. He continues. I quickly realized that it's not worth the time to customize guns or craft.
It's not. It's one of those games where like no matter if you customize a gun and you make it more powerful, you can literally just find one off of a dead body that is
Yep.
probably more
Just
powerful than
as
the one you
powerful.
already.
Yep.
Yeah, I never was a fan of that type of leveling when it came to loot.
He continues. Just grab the highest rated stuff and you can easily shoot your way out of any encounter. Hacking is dead. What's hacking?
It's one of the things in the game where like I can hack the lights and make a
Yeah.
distraction, or I can hack a robot opponent or something like that, or hack someone else's cyber upgrades.
Like tech hacking?
Yeah, it's a part of the it's like one of your skill sets instead of just like fighting. There is a way, if you wanted to, you can play the entire game without killing anyone.
Oh,
And hacking is
hack like being a hacker.
yes,
Yes.
like being a cyberpunk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sir,
you
don't
can
do
hack
that.
like you can hack lights,
Don't
you can
do
hack
that.
security
Yeah,
cameras, and
but
Okay.
the problem with it. Oh, I'll continue. Finish reading because I agree with his point. Go ahead.
Okay, no worries. Sorry, I was like, what's hacking? Is it
Yeah.
not what I thought it was? Okay. Is hacking is dead because the AI isn't smart enough to let you employ it eventually.
yeah, basically when you think of
Effectively,
hacking in
yeah.
that
Effectively,
game,
sorry.
just think of Johnny Lee Miller in the movie Hackers doing way too much and not getting any of the benefit.
Yep. Yep. This is
Hack the
100%.
planet.
Like you get to a point where it's like, why am I bothering? I can just shoot him and keep it
Yeah.
moving. Like that's the problem
Some of
with the
those
hacking in
things,
this
like
game.
it depending on how you want to play the game. If you want to
Mhm.
be like a fucking uber nerd and be like, I'm not going to kill anyone, I'm going to get through with stealth alone. You would need to use
Yeah, then
hacking a
it
lot.
matters, but
If you're like, fuck
otherwise,
this, big guns, blah 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 blah, you shoot everyone. You don't really need to do any hacking unless it's part of the mission and like you have to open a door or something.
right.
Okay. He continues, you can try to play sneaky, but 9 times out of 10, you're just going to have to shoot your way out of because of guard just standing there and doesn't respond to your distractions, like you were
That does
saying.
happen.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is a very fair point.
I might circle back around next year once they patch it up and the price drops. Do we think the price is going to
I
drop?
have a feeling the price is going to drop real quick
Yeah, the
soon.
price will probably drop before the end of the year, but whatever. Yeah.
Okay. But right now, it's a no for me, dog. Okay, wait. Okay, so I have a question.
Hmm.
This game came out under who?
It came out on the 10th. The company is CD Project Red.
Okay. So games like that usually drop their prices? Because I
Eventually.
know if like
After a few
Yeah.
months, and especially if it's one of those games where like no one will stop talking about it, and they put out a Game of the Year edition, which a
Mhm.
lot of times a Game of the Year edition will have all of the DLC that you might have had to pay for
Independently.
as it came out. They'll wait like 6 to 9 months and they'll put out a Game of the Year edition where it'll include all that DLC in the normal price of the game. So people
Mhm.
like me who would buy the DLC as it comes out basically get fucked over. But if you have someone who hadn't played it yet and they were waiting for something like that, they get all of that DLC for the same price that I paid to get in, not including everything that I paid for DLC.
Right. Right.
It's a pretty good deal.
40 to 60 extra dollars you've paid for in DLC.
Yeah.
And on top of that, too, a game will hit a certain point where the shelf life has just gotten to a point where they will just drop the price.
And it depends on the game itself, because a game
Yeah.
like this, you could look at a game like Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5 came out in 2013. It
Mhm.
is still $60 because it is still one of the most played games on Xbox
Yep.
and any console right now, because they continue to update the open world.
See, that's what I'm used to with Nintendo. Like their games, they don't.
Yeah, Nintendo doesn't
have
drop
no-
prices very
yeah.
often, especially like first party Nintendo games. Like you can go in their thing and you'll see like Capcom games or
Mhm.
Konami games. They'll go on sale every now and again. Nintendo don't discount shit. You pay
No.
full price and you like it.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing ain't never going down. in
Never.
price,
It
y'all.
hasn't. Never. Yeah.
And it won't. And it won't.
To finish, he says he's out and he says Merry Xmas. So Merry Xmas to you,
Merry
Corey.
Xmas to you too, Corey.
Merry Xmas, Happy Hanukkah. Merry Kwanzaa,
Right, whatever
Shabbat
holiday you
Shalom,
celebrate.
If you don't celebrate the holiday at all.
Or yeah, if you don't celebrate any, that's cool too.
a jovial humanist greeting.
There
So
it
thank you
is.
for that. We appreciate you. Whatever, boys.
Oh,
Do what you do.
all right. All right, guys. Well, with that, as always, we want to thank you all for listening and watching. If you like the episode, please rate us, drop a review, subscribe to the podcast or the YouTube channel or both. Tell your friends, do all of those fun things. You can also follow us on social media. Our Twitter and Instagram handle is at Concentrated Pod. Next week, we are going to obviously be hungover from the holiday, but what we're really going to be doing is talking about Wonder Woman 84 because we're finally going to get to see it.
From the safety of our own home.
From the safety of our own home.
In beautiful 4K.
So absolutely, we record Sunday evenings. If you've had an opportunity to watch it and you want to tell us what you think, get that feedback in. You can do that through our social media, or you can send us your feedback or any questions, topics you want to discuss, whatever.
And we'll post something in the middle of the week to remind you because again, the movie drops on Friday. We'll give you 48 hours, just like we did with this. So you'll have the episode Monday.
Exactly. And you can send us that email to concentratedpodcast@gmail.com, or you can go on our Facebook page. It is just Concentrated Podcast. Lastly, if you don't feel like typing anything, you can leave us a voicemail. The phone number is 301-531-4393. Again, that's 301-531-4393. As we wrap, we know it's the holidays. We know you want to spend time with your family, but please, please, please
don't. They're terrible.
Some people don't have bad families.
Yeah, some people like their family.
Just you have an excuse this year, COVID. So you don't have to see your shitty family.
Yeah, don't though.
And don't unless you live with them, don't.
Yeah, utilize social media, guys. Like let's try to get this shit under control so that we can all get back to some semblance of normal.
Or maybe this is our new normal.
Could be. All right, guys, with that, happy holidays. We will talk to you next week. Bye, guys.
Peace.
Okay, because nobody was waving or doing the finger thingy, so I was like, well, are we not doing that?
We always wave, Manira.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Eric, wave.
I already did a piece and you guys weren't ready. And
bye, y'all. Happy holidays.